Every pregnancy needs utmost care and attention. But certain pregnancies need a little extra attention. An RH negative mother carrying an RH positive baby is at increased risk of complications. BSV is at the forefront to ensure safe delivery in every RH negative pregnancy.
Hello and welcome. You're with the Outside View presented by Women's Cricket Zone. I'm Rupa Ramani. It's bright and early here, and it is another interesting game. It's England versus Pakistan at the Women's World Cup, and this is brought to you by BSV, Puma Food and Wellness, AMRI Hospitals, and MPL Sports Foundation. It's quite a mouthful, but before we go any further, let's welcome the ladies who are going to set this up for you. England versus Pakistan at Christchurch. I believe it's the first game there. We're joined by former Pakistan cricketer Marina Iqbal, who's very, very nervous, and a World Cup winner here with us as well, Julia Price from Australia. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. Marina, first to you. How nervous are you? I mean, this could be one of those matches that could sort of throw the balance in that points table quite a bit, and of course, it could get Pakistan somewhere closer to that spot.
Definitely a bit nervous, but I think that the pressure is lesser on Pakistan. It must be more on England. And given how this World Cup is turning out, I think anything can happen. So my hopes are really high, especially with the win Pakistan got against West Indies. They've got the momentum. And I think there are a lot of positives to pick up and go into this game for them.
There have been a few, just if you're joining us here on the Outside View, we just want to update you that England has won the toss and they've elected to bowl first. There are a few changes in the lineups and we will sort of get to that in a bit. But just to sort of set up this clash, Julia, England they've got the momentum going, though there is this sort of sense of, nervousness about the way they're doing things, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Sorry, I'm muting myself. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they lose one game, they're going to be out. So they know that they have to win this game, and it's essential the whole way through now. It's sudden death. So they've got themselves in this situation. But I don't know. I sort of feel there's still a confidence about England. I've always said that they've been playing really good cricket, and they've probably got a slightly easier run home, I suppose. They had a bit of a cruel start with some really tough games initially. And their fielding let them down badly. But since they've fixed their fielding, their batting seems to have gone downhill as well. So I don't know. I think England is sort of hanging in there. I like their fight at the moment. Definitely pressure on them to get through. I mean, Pakistan will be playing for a bit of pride, although they technically could get through if things go their way. But I think it'll still be a pretty tight game. A lot of spinners for Pakistan. So I think that England may struggle a little bit with the spin attack. But it's an important game for England definitely today.
Yes, it's an important game, and we have the playing 11 ready for both these sides. Let's take a look at the playing 11 that's going to take the field. There are a few changes in both these teams going into the clash today. We do know that Emma Lamb is coming in place of a very, very successful Charlie Dean, who's been for them in this tournament so far. A little bit of a surprise there. We'll, of course, ask our experts why that is, and a couple of changes there in the Pakistan lineup as well. Let's go to Marina first. Marina, could you take us through that lineup? I see Amin not present in that particular lineup as well.
Yeah, Anam Amin missing out, and Aiman Anwar coming in. She's a medium fast bowler, gets the in swing. That's natural in swing for her. I actually was hoping maybe they could have gone for Ghulam Fatma, just giving a lot more cushion to their spin attack. But Aiman has a decent history against England, and they would like to maybe utilize the conditions as well later on. So one thing for me that is shocking is Muniba Ali missing out. She actually provided a really good innings against West Indies. He played that attacking cricket, and that sort of push that Pakistan needed up the order. They're going with Naida, the more experienced one, but let's hope that it works for them. But I think that keeping Muniba up at top might have helped them against, with the right and left hand combination, and also the approach Muniba has.
Yes, just to sort of round up what we've heard, two changes in the Pakistan lineup. Nahida and Ayman Anwar are playing. Muniba, as correctly said by Marina, and Anam Amin are missing out. And just one change for England there. Charlie Dean sort of missing out, and Emma Lamb comes in. A little surprised with that, Julia?
No, not really. Well, maybe a little bit. Yeah, she's been bowling fantastically well, and her and Sophie Eccleston have been doing a great job. They've got 15 wickets between them at 3.8 at the moment. So, they've been very economical as well as picking up the wickets. However, they're playing at Hagley. No one's played at Hagley yet. It's a fresh pitch. It doesn't usually, it's more renowned for its bounce, which can assist spinners in a different way than just turn. But there's usually not a lot of turn in it when it's a bit fresher and newer like this. So actually, and I'm wondering if Pakistan have done the same thing by leaving out Anam Amin, because she bowled beautifully the other day. But do they know that this pitch isn't going to be as conducive to spin? So thus they've brought in a pace bowler for Pakistan, and England have brought in another bat to reinforce their batting, which does seem to be their problem at the moment. So they've had to sacrifice one of those bowlers, which I'm assuming would mean Heather Knight will be the sixth bowler now.
Yes, a few sort of very critical changes there for both the lineups, and as Julia said, it is a venue that's playing its first match here. How much of that? A bit of what Christchurch looks like at the moment. There's also possibly rain somewhere in the air as well. Marina, how's that going to sort of change things about both these sides?
Well, definitely there is some, technical things and strategical things you need to keep in mind when the weather is kind of playing with you. But again, that's not in their control. And rightly, when Bisma said at the toss that you have to be aware of things you can control. So again, teams need to consider their options and resources. Yes, I think that looking at the surface, that's the best 11 they've gone for. But again, how they implement that will affect later. Whatever the surface is, they have to adjust quickly, because yes, Pakistan has not a lot at stake, likely England has, but again, they would like to continue the momentum, and they've got some close game against England, so they would like to come and make up a statement. And again, like Julia said, would be looking to play for pride, and they have the resources. They've got the spinners, they've got the batting lineup going for them. So I think that they have the resources to challenge England, but how well they implement and execute, we'll have to see and wait for that.
Yeah, there are a lot of sort of little gaps, little voids there in both these sides. Let's talk a bit about England as well. There is that sense, Julia, especially with the change as well that they've made in their lineup, that they are really worried about their batting, especially when you are coming and approaching one of those critical phase of the tournaments that they know they want to be a part of.
Yeah, well, I mean, their opening batting has been a real sort of thorn in their side for this whole tournament, and they've experimented a little bit with a few players in Winfield Hill and also Danny White. I know they've got listed on there that Danny White's opening, but wouldn't surprise me if she drops back down to number 5 or 6 and Emma Lamb goes in to open. It'll be interesting as well. Emma Lamb hasn't played a game yet this series. She played one game in the Ashes series and got bowled second ball by Elise Perry. So no one really knows too much about her still. Clearly a talent for the future, but is she ready right at the moment? And it'll be curious to see how she goes. But they've really got to do something about that batting order. They've only passed the 4 over mark once this World Cup so far without losing a wicket, England. So that's where their little Achilles heel is at the moment. And I think that's where Pakistan could step in and really turn the screws on England, because they're very, very aware that opening partnership and their power play hasn't been brilliant.
Yes, but we do know that what we're going to see at the start will be Pakistan batting. Let's talk a little bit about that. Marina, they really have had a quiet, of course, their bowling unit has sort of stood up and shined in this entire tournament, starting from the first match against India. But just a word on their batting lineup, and what are those few points of sort of concern or worry that you see there?
Well, initially I was worried about their top order, because the middle order was performing well. Nida Dar, Alia Riaz again standing up, but then there was a bit of seesaw. The top order started some momentum, got momentum, and the middle order actually got into some trouble. So again, they need to sort out their batting as well. I think in the last match, the approach was very well. They played attacking cricket. They had a clear mind, and that's exactly what they needed from the first game. They should be looking on their strengths. And again, you have to step out of your comfort zone if you want to challenge the opposition, and especially when you're playing against a stronger opposition like England today. So I think that they need to be positive from the ball one. They need to, sort of have a plan for power play as well as for the middle of overs. They're posting a total, so they need to maintain a certain run rate to post a decent one against England. Yes, they've got their bowling backing them, but first it's batter's job to provide something on board that the bowlers can come up and bowl something at.
Julia, the bowling has been England's strength as well. They've sort of really come into it. There was this period in the start. I mean, they started slow, of course, but they've sort of really come into it. Just a word on especially their, someone like Shrubsole and Kate Cross, who had a very good last game as well. Just your thoughts on how their pacers have gone about the business this particular time.
Yeah, I mean, Heather Knight's, she's made it quite clear that she's extremely happy with how the bowlers have been bowling, particularly the pace bowlers, and clearly that reluctance to not play or to keep playing Catherine Brunt when she's only picked up 1 wicket out of the entire, and she's probably going around 5.5s as well, which is quite expensive, not having her best tournament. And I find it a little disappointing, although it's, she's clearly a bit of a legend of the game over in England. I would have loved to have seen Freya Davies to come into this game just to change up that bowling attack. It still keeps the integrity of the attack that they've got at the moment. And your Shrubsole, she's a little borderline as well. Like has been doing okay, but it's a fairly inconsistent. The in swing though will be very handy to have today, particularly on a pitch that bounces a little bit more and can be a little flat. But I would have loved to have seen that Freya Davies come in, particularly if England are going to get into that semi-final. Somehow they may have to play her suddenly in a really crux game like a semi-final as opposed to one of the lead-in games. Even though this is a must-win for them, I think it would have taken the pressure off her and let her work around a little bit with the new ball today and have a few of the others supporting her that have been bowling well, like your Kate Crosses, like your Sophie Ecclestones, and even obviously Nat Siver as well.
Yes, and you said you did speak about the semi-final spot, Julia. So let's take a look at the points table because we need to know where it's placed right now because every match becomes so much more important and the results sort of affect the overall balance. We do know that a few of the teams would be wanting Pakistan to sort of throw a spanner in the works and definitely try and create a bit of a stir there in that middle portion of that points table. Australia sitting pretty, South Africa looking pretty good as well, but that's where it all stops because after that you have India, West Indies, England, New Zealand. It's all bunched up there and all of them have key matches. Marina, your thoughts? Does Pakistan even think of I'm just gonna go there, have a good time, have a good game and put my best foot forward? Or do they think that this could get interesting and it's all in our hands, we could make this interesting for others? Marina, did you manage to hear the question?
Yeah, I lost you guys.
No worries.
Yeah, I lost you guys.
No worries. Just thoughts on what the mental sort of what the psyche of a Pakistan team would be when they look at this particular points table. Are they going by they could make it interesting, or is it just focused on how they want to sort of put their best foot forward?
Sorry, you need to repeat it again. I think there's some problem with the internet.
No worries, Marina. Just wanted to ask you about what's the mental psyche that Pakistan has going into this particular match.
I think they'll be pretty confident. Again, when you don't have much to lose and you've got a win in your bag, I think moving forward they would be sorted out, especially at the top order. They've got their spinners backing their bowling. And yes, again, they know that pressure will be on England. That's a must-win game for them. So all they can do is, somewhat of what Bangladesh has been doing and do their best. And again, just have that faith that any day can be theirs and they can beat England. Yes, it's going to be a hard work. England's got a pretty decent bowling lineup. They've got a few batters who can turn the game around in matter of minutes. But again, they've put England under pressure straight away.
Yeah, just a few things that I'm also hearing from the pitch there out in the middle, because as we mentioned, this is the first game at the Hagley Oval. It says that the pitch has a bit of live grass. Debbie Hockley says that there should be quite some runs. So we don't know how this is placed up, but yeah, we'll see how it pans out. Just a thought as well on is this also a bit of, Julia, a bit of England saying we want also to think about the run rate. Is it a defensive sort of a move to think that, okay, let's put Pakistan into ball and then see how much we've got to sort of chase through, and we'll plan it in probably less number of overs? Is it a very defensive move?
No, I don't think so. I think they're just like, we need to win this game. I don't think they're being too cagey about anything. I just think that they definitely like chasing more. They lose more than 50% of the time when they're setting. So it doesn't surprise me at all that they wanted to bowl first. They're really comfortable with their bowling attack. They're confident, so they want to get off to a good start. Obviously, it helps their batters knowing exactly how many runs they need to score. And if there is a bit of weather around as well, it always makes sense to bowl first, so you can sort of really get an idea on how to adjust your batting lineups and how you're going to approach the game if you're trying to chase down a total. So to me, it doesn't surprise me at all that they've gone with bowling first. And also the pitch at Hagley does have a little in it, a little early. And it's a big field. It's going to be a good score as well. So pretty quick ground, one of the bounciest in the game. So I'm sure Catherine Brunt might be dropping a few bounces in there. We've seen Siva doing it as well, which we hadn't expected, and even Kate Cross. So it's nice that they're sort of varying their lengths a fair bit in this World Cup. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how England go about their attack to this Pakistani team today.
Marina, we spoke about, you mentioned about how the pressure on England is a tad higher, of course. Is that also because of the kind of last game that they had? Yes, it was a close match, but they sort of took it way beyond the comfortable zone against hosts, coming really close to almost losing that particular match and just winning it by a wicket. Is that something that would also play on their minds here? I think there's a bit of an issue. And Marina, did you hear the question? Is there again a little bit of an issue?
Yeah, I think definitely, because England, they are that sort of a team. They obviously are the defenders. But again, when you're not sorted in your overall, especially batting, if I talk about, they have those players, bigger names, who like to, go and play some really attacking cricket. They've got Beaumont, they've got Skipper, they've got Heather Knight, and they all are struggling a bit, they would have liked. So it does get to you, because you know that you're a team everyone's looking at. They're looking at you. They want to win. And when certain teams don't do that, scares, that can set you a bit off. So you know that Pakistan also has the capacity. They can, if they can really play well with their A game, they can challenge England. So they're a bit in this way, positively as much as they can, and again try to momentum and some impact back towards their side in this World Cup.
All right, and that's a battle that we want to definitely look forward to. But speaking of the player battles, Julia, is there some interesting matchups that you're looking forward to, especially in that first innings when Pakistan tries to have a confident batting start against the England bowling lineup?
Yeah, well, Catherine Brunt, and this is maybe why they included her in the lineup, is that she does have pretty good record against Javeria Khan and Bismillah Maroof, having got them both out twice. Khan 21 average with only a 57 strike rate, and Bismillah Maroof, who's been doing so well this tournament, she's sort of like a fan favourite at the moment, only averaging 14.5 with a strike rate of 59. So maybe that's the reason that they've kept Catherine Brunt in here. They know that she's got a good matchup against, some of the opening bowlers. I know Javeria's probably not even playing today. I didn't see her name in there. And also Sidra Amin against Shrubsall, she's only averaging 9.5, and she's also been out twice. So that opening attack of Brunt and Shrubsall is going to be quite an interesting one early on for the Pakistani team. No doubt, I think they just need to make sure that they're getting through that power play, trying to minimise the number of wickets they're losing, and then being able to accelerate from there, because they've been actually quite good through that middle order, and particularly now with someone like Charlie Dean out. It sort of probably exposes the bowling attack a little, with Heather Knight having to come in and maybe bowl some overs there. So they might be able to accelerate through that middle order, if particularly they're maintaining those wickets at the top of the order.
Right, and we know that because the ladies are getting ready to take the field, there's a bit of a huddle that England has just gotten into before entering that field. They're just taking the field. So to quickly wrap this up, quick predictions. Marina, what would you? We know you'd love them to reach a good total, but what are your predictions for the first innings?
Well, definitely. I mean, with a team like England, you have to go something beyond 250, which seems far. I think try to restrict England, grab some early wickets, and put pressure on them. So 250 plus, that's for me.
Julia, what is it? What would they like to restrict Pakistan to sort of close things up quickly?
Well, I think they'd like it's under 200. I think that's what they'll be aiming at. Whether they get that or not, as we know, it's a quick ground, big field, plenty of space. So it's about how Pakistan, with the confidence they're bringing into from their last T20 win against the West Indies. Well, T20 was a reduced overs game, 220 overs.
Yeah, almost T20. Yeah,
almost, yeah, exactly. Played like a T20 anyway. But I think they just need to bring that intent. I thought they were excellent in that, so that they do need to get around that 250 mark, absolutely, as Marina said, if they really want to compete and stretch England's batting, which we know is a little wobbly occasionally. So I think that's, or only in the last couple of games, but I just think that that's the way to do it, is to bat them out of the game and really sort of set them a decent total that puts them under pressure.
Yes, it's going to be exciting either ways, because we do know that everyone's sort of ready there and good to go. We do realize Catherine Brunt is sort of right there at the mark to kick things off. So we're going to not take much time here. We're going to just sort of straight away head to live action. I'm sure everyone's waiting for that to unfold. And we will be here back again after that first innings to take you through what's happened in the first part of the match and sort of set up what the second half would look like. But thank you for joining us in here at The Outside View. And if you have any questions for our experts, they would be happy to oblige. So do keep watching and tune into that match there at Hagley Oval and come back here to take us through the analysis. Thanks for watching.